The door is open that says you're uneducated, right? Well, I have a college degree. Well, good for you, but you're maybe broke. So if you're educated or uneducated, you can be a millionaire. If you have a high school diploma, you can be a millionaire. If you have a low IQ, you can be a millionaire. All you have to do is apply yourself in the real estate business.
In terms of thinking bigger, one of the things that you do a really good job in is constantly trying to find ways to think bigger. I know that in one of the calls that was had maybe a couple of years ago, you had an interaction with a guy who was either like in IT or something, where he was talking about like return on investments, percentages of returns, and it kind of changed your perspective of investing in leads. Do you remember that conversation?
I had a relationship with this guy he was a client of mine, and I got to know him, became a friend of mine. He was young, he was in his mid or late 20s at that time, and he was a multimillionaire. And he would buy a lot of online PPC type of leads. He was in the gaming business, and so he was worth a lot of money. I mean, probably $20 million, $25 million at that particular time at a young 20-something old age. And so I got to know him a little bit, started picking his brain. He was not overly open to discussing his entire business with me. I don't know why, but he did share enough with me that got me thinking. And here's what he said. He was investing $1 million a month in leads. And so he would spend on Google $1 million for PPC leads per month. And his return on that investment, now he was a one-man show, by the way. He didn't have any employees, so he was the only employee in his company.
Wow.
And so, and he would get back on average $1.8 million in return of revenue. So he would have $1 million, and then he would vest that $1 million. He'd get $1.8 million back, his net profit off of that business. He didn't have an office, no bricks and mortar. He worked from home off his laptop at his, in his $2 million house at his pool.
Wow.
And so he would then he was making about $800,000 per month net.
Big.
Okay. Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So you start calculating that kind of money, and you're like, wait a minute, this guy's making $10 million a year. He's 27, 28 years old. And so he says, yeah, he goes, so I invested $1 million, I make 800,000 back. I invest $1 million, make 800,000 back. I said, so your investment is $1 million? He says, no. I said, so your investment is 12 million. He goes, no, my investment is 1 million. So he says, no, really, my investment is $1 million. I just used the $1 million 12 times.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, well, that's interesting. And so he kind of shares that with me. And he says, so I'm investing $1 million. I'm just using it 12 times. I'm taking the $1 million back, putting the $1 million back in, taking the $1 million back, putting the $1 million again. So it's $1 million. I said, so it's costing you $1 million to make 10 million. He says, yes, but it really doesn't cost me anything to make 10 million. I said, well, what do you mean? And he goes, well, it's my $1 million to start with, right? And I said, yeah. He goes, when I retire, what am I going to do? I'm going to take that $1 million back, right? And I said, yeah. He goes, so they're using my $1 million so I can make 10 million, but in the end, I'm going to take that $1 million back. So I'm generating $10 million a year and it's not costing me anything.
I love that.
When I learned that and I had that perception, I started thinking about like clothes and shoes and things like that, right? He goes, no matter what you buy, it's going to have a depreciation asset. So I pay $100 for the shirt, and then, after you wear it for, 6 months or something, you're going to go give it to Goodwill and it's going to have no value anymore, right? Your shoes, the same thing. I'm like, well, that's interesting. He goes, not when you buy online leads. When you buy online leads, you get your $1 million back, or in this case, let's just say it's 200,000 or 300,000 or whatever a realtor is paying for online leads a month. So you're putting 2 million in, 3 million in, whatever it is a year, you're getting that money back, you're getting that money back. So you're like, okay, well, I'm putting, let's say 200,000 a month. I have to have the 200,000.
Yeah.
I use the 200,000 every month. I then keep circulating that every month. I then generate, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $800,000 a year off that investment. I then keep using and repurposing that money. And then when I decide to stop buying leads, I take that 200 grand and put it in my pocket.
Yeah. That perspective shift was insane when we heard it the first time. And it's such an amazing story. I remember that story too. Yeah.
There's a great book by Price Pritchard called Quantum Leap.
Yep.
But he looks at, let's build our business and grow this 20% every year. Well, why not grow it 100% every year?
Yeah. Yeah.
My friend Robert was able to do that, and his company built it 100, 200%. Every 12 months, he had another 150, 200 agents. And you look at this going, well, how is that possible? He didn't limit himself. And that's kind of where the saying came from, is stop thinking like a realtor. Stop, like a regular business person might look at it and go, we grow at 20% a year. We look at it, or I might look at it and go, well, why can't I build it at 100% growing company? I haven't gotten there yet because I'm still not building my company at 100% a year. But I think it's a really good thought.
Yeah. It was interesting because Bernie has the square footage of your space is like 10 or 20,000 right now.
It's 12.
12. And it's a huge space.
Yeah.
It's huge in the back. It's there. I go up to Bernie. I'm like, hey, why don't you just like fill up a bunch of people here? He's like, I don't want that. I'm like, why not? Think about it. He's like, I don't want to fill it up and like dilute this culture. Like you've done a really good job too of being very selective. So it's like it has to grow with the culture almost as well. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I think, I don't know, again, I'm not saying what I'm doing is right. I think that every owner today has to make a decision on what they want to go to work to every day and see and be around.
Yeah.
In the world that I live in, I look at realtors a little bit different than probably some others. And that is they're in the greatest opportunity to make money. But listen, we don't have to have a higher education. We got to pass a stupid test, right? And then you look at this and go, you can get paid $8, $10, $12, $15, $18, $20,000, $30,000, whatever, per house sale.
Yeah.
And my concern and question always is, if you had this kind of opportunity to immense wealth, not make a living, but immense wealth, like the door is open that says you're uneducated, right? Well, I have a college degree. Well, good for you, but you're maybe broke. So if you're educated or uneducated, you could be a millionaire. If you have a high school diploma, you can be a millionaire. If you have a low IQ, you could be a millionaire. All you have to do is apply yourself in the real estate business. So I always looked at real estate as a massive opportunity that provides a financial opportunity for a lot of people to give things to their families that would never otherwise be possible, right? Make more money than doctors, than lawyers. I got friends of mine who are doctors who go to medical school and they go do all that stuff and they're making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year. It's like, okay, well, that might be okay, but I can't live off of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So what I try to instill in my agents is you have such a great opportunity. Let's not squander it.
Yeah.
Right. We don't know how long this opportunity of real estate is going to be around. Real estate's changed tremendously over the last 5, 6, 7 years. We don't even know what the next 5 or 6 or 7 years are. So why don't we just, make it the biggest amount of money, the most amount of money that we possibly can. So first, culturally, when the office goes, I thought, who do I want to hang out with? And when I was in the Mike Ferry system and I would go to these Mike Ferry events, and as you guys all know, because you've been to them, everybody gets all excited and jazzed up and jumps up and down, and you're hanging out with a bunch of multimillionaires who are just excited about life and selling houses. And we jump on the airplane and we fly back home and we go back to our regular real estate office and we're like, where's all the energy?
Yeah.
Where's all the excitement, right? And so I thought, man, how great would it be to have a bunch of Mike Ferry office people that had that kind of culture working in my 4 walls.
Yeah.
If I'm going to create that, I'm going to create them to work for my company. So Kira, to answer your question, why I think the way I do, it's not that I can't have 40 people in my company that are 50 or 60 or whatever. They're just really hard to find in our industry.
Yeah.
That people that want to really get excited about going to work and want to make a lot of money, make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And you find most of them don't want to work. And so to answer your question, I don't want to be around people that don't think that way.
Yeah.
So I would rather, I've got 12,000 square feet, but I only need 8 because I only have room for 8,000 square feet of good quality people.
Yeah.
And if I find enough to open up the back end of that and I feel empowered to want to be around those people, then I'll invite them into my company. We'll buy more desks and more chairs. But until then,
True.
We just keep it small. Like why buy a desk and a phone or a chair for an agent that doesn't want to be productive? This doesn't make any sense to me. So I say to everybody in the company, my management staff anyway, is I go, listen, I'm going to bring somebody into the company that inspires me. And so I'm not easily inspired. And that is, show up to work every day and want to really make something positive out of your life.
Yeah.
And so if I feel inspired by you, then you can continue to keep working inside the company. But if for some reason I feel like you're not a cultural fit for us anymore, it's just time to move on. And so it doesn't do us any good to have a whole bunch of space if we can't find people to fill it.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Bernie, how has the shift in the market, as you referred to, let's say since June 2022, how has that impacted things on your team?
I think probably like a lot of people in the country, it has impacted our office, and which was really good at the time we made a shift into me coaching. Was I went through 2008, right, when the market was pretty tough in 08. And so I was probably the only one inside the company that could understand how to excel in a down market. And it was nothing more than training the mindset, because a lot of the agents came into the business. I had several that were in in 2000. I think Raymond started with me in 2012 or 13 or something like that. Maybe it was 2010. But anyways, he went from 10, 11, and all the way up. He's still with me. He's been with me about 12 years. But all the agents inside my company started after that, all brand new agents. So 15, 17, 20, 21, whatever. So nobody, including Raymond, my best guy, had ever understood what the dynamics of 2008 was.
Yeah.
So I knew I was the only person in there that had dealt with that adversity of 08. So I had to just build the strength mentally into my team. And I used to tell them, listen, this market should never dictate your goal. You're going to have to, it's a skill game and you're learning a different skill. This is the skill we have to learn now. So I don't believe that the down market should be a reason why our production is down.
Yeah.
But it took some time to train the agent the other way, right? Oh, because everyone's talking about the interest rates and no one's buying. Oh, the market's going to fall apart. We're in a recession. And I just keep sharing with them, listen, this is a new skill. And if you look at it as saying, I just don't know this skill yet, and we're going to work on this skill, you will see that you're actually going to have the best year ever. We have agents right now that are having really great years this year, 2023. I've got one that is tracking for herself, which the most she's made before is in the low 300s. And coaching her, she's tracking to make 400,000 this year for herself. And so you look at this going, well, while everybody else is dying on the vine or struggling or using the excuses, this agent is actually excelling. And so we have several stories like that. Yeah. And we have some that have chose to be victims and their production is sliding south. We have other ones that their business is heading north. And so my answer to your question is just spend time reframing their opinion of the market. And I think that for most of my agents, if they looked at it the right way, which a lot of them are, they'll have the best year they ever had this year.
Yeah, that's a valid point because when you reframe it, you come from a place of curiosity to overcome it versus letting fear disable you from actually making the next call or figuring.
Well, as leaders too, we can't buy into it.
Yeah.
I mean, as a leadership, we can't buy into this. You know, in 2008, in the national market anyway, 8% of our homes sold in 2008, 2009, 2010. No. We had an 8% selling rate for what was on the market. I mean, if you look at that, that's 92%
fall apart.
92% not selling.
Yeah.
92% failure rate, really, if you don't look at it that way. But yet, I was still able to sell 100 homes a year in that down market, and my business took off during that time where everybody else, the other agents, got. But if you think about, it was 2.2 million licensed agents in 2006, and in 2010, there was 970,000 agents left. So I just told you it was pretty much a bloodbath, right?
Yeah.
But yet, myself and a lot of these Mike Ferry agents, their business took off because that was our skill, right? Mike taught us that. This is no different. So what happens is we were in this glory day of 2020 and 2021, and everyone's like, woo, this is really great. And then it changed. It's like, no, guys, you don't understand. This is way better than 08. And let me tell you what happened to me in 08. I grew this way. Well, how did that happen? Mike Ferry just changed how I looked at things. And I was able to excel at a level, and I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. And so I think the leadership in any company, if their company is suffering, the leadership is got to change the framing and the attitude of the agent by the attitude of the agent.
Yeah.